What's up, world? This is Wilson coming at you, and I am here at the table with the Shepherds of Men, and I'm always privileged to be here with O, JP, Cam, and myself, obviously. And,
man, I wasn't last this time.
I know, I did that just for you.
I noticed that.
I did that
That
just
was
for you.
Was that hard for you?
No.
Did you also notice that he said he's privileged to be at the table with himself?
Wow. Hey, it's a privilege just to be here with me.
I love spending time with me. Hey, there's a little part of that is,
Kinda
part of
true.
growth, right? Like you should love to spend some time with yourself. Anyways, carry on.
I love me.
You shouldn't boast about it, but you should
To the world.
All right.
Anyways, pray continue.
Well, yeah. But we're coming to you today. Just, man, we've had me personally, we've had a great week. And coming into this, we're going to talk about connections and just making genuine connections, good connections that can perpetuate your life for the better. And speaking of that, as men, how we should be connecting to other brothers out there as we live our life. You never know what those connections are going to bring, what kind of doors that will be opened, and just it's really cool to see when you do it right and when you get out of your own self, out of your own way mentally, because a lot of people who don't like talking to people are typically just they beat themselves up, and we're going to talk about some of those things, and there's a story that I want to talk about and kind of go into a little bit. But before we get really rolling, if you're a new listener, just be warned that we are pro-truth. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. So this is the first episode you just happen to come across. Just be forewarned. We encourage you to listen and grow a backbone and just apply things that you can apply. Take what you can, like a shopping cart mentality, and just roll with it. So, but before we get started, man, how's y'all's week been?
It's super productive on a lot of different levels. Working hard at work, a lot of responsibility that's kind of fallen on my plate. So stretched pretty thin in that area, but as we know, stretching is better for you. You're better in the long run for it. It's better than being lazy. Like we talked about in the last podcast, I started getting a little bit more serious about CrossFit, hired a coach, said something really stupid, like I want to be at an elite level. So I have paid for that, which is good. Let me rephrase. I have invested a lot in that area, not financially, but time and effort. But it's cool, man. I mean, it's one of those things like we talked about before. One of the things I love about fitness is you can create a goal and you create a game plan to do it, and you execute it every day, regardless of if you want to or not, regardless of how bad it sucks. You got to embrace the suck, like we've talked about before. And it's just everything that he programs for me to do is just beyond where I think I can do it. So most of the time I end up on my back on the floor. As you guys know, or maybe you don't know, CrossFit affiliates are not allowed to have air conditioning. So they're not allowed to have central heat and air. It's a thing. No, it's a
I didn't know that.
CrossFit, you need to be in Alaska.
Yeah, right. Well, I think fall is going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
But no, so they're not allowed to have. So if like while we're recording this right now, it's been like 100 degrees outside, and in the box it's even hotter and stuff. So you're doing that, plus you're exerting all the energy and stuff. But and what's cool is when you start to develop that mentality that that where you're stretching yourself and where you're uncomfortable is where you get better. You start to tell yourself that in situations where you're like, I want to stop. But then you go, yeah, but you're going to be mad at yourself later.
Right.
Because I've walked out of the gym several times and knowing that I died, laying on my back, like I was close to death. I walked out of the gym going, I probably could have shaved off a couple seconds if I wouldn't have stared at that bar for 5 seconds before I picked it up.
Right.
Kind of thing. So it's, something else to work for and stuff like that, but it's cool. It's making great progressions. I've lost a little bit of weight, which I kind of wanted to do. I didn't want to lose strength, but I wanted to lose some weight because when you're doing a bunch of running and you're doing gymnastics and you weigh 220 pounds, it's not very conducive.
Are you doing tumbling now too?
Yeah. So we're working on cartwheels, cheerleading stuff.
Wow. Just when
Those
you think
muscle
you know
ups,
somebody.
though.
Yeah.
Hey, those muscle ups are pretty legit.
Oh, they're such
It's
a
almost
bitch.
like an iron cross almost
It's-
if you get into the ring.
Well, the worst part is this stuff.
Yeah.
Tearing your hands open. Like that's the worst part. I've ripped my hands every single way that I possibly can. So I'm going to stop using that apricot lotion that I use at night. Toughen them up a little bit. But no. So cool. Yeah, I found out a new item. I didn't know if you guys knew this or not, but apparently there is a callus shaver.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Shaver?
Yes. So it's like a razor blade thing that I bought from Amazon. You just sit there and shave them because the reason that you rip is you build up hard calluses, and then the outside of the callus, when it pulls on the bar and stuff, it just separates the skin that's not as hard and just rips it off. That's what happened there. The callus just ripped off. And it's that, I don't know what the levels of skin is, but like the mederma down underneath your outer skin, it's very sensitive. Right. It's very sensitive. And for some odd reason, you can throw dust in it, you can throw dirt in it, you can put alcohol on it and stuff, but as soon as water hits it, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you just got to take it, too. And it's like the hot water hits it and stuff, and it hurts like hell. But then after a few minutes, it starts to harden up. And it's amazing how quick your hands heal.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing how fast your hands heal. So enough about me.
How
about y'all?
Sure?
Just 6 minutes in, you know. I'm just kidding.
We had a great week, too, man. Things have been, I mean, we say it every time we get on here, but it's the truth. We're productive. Awesome stuff happening in our physical growth realm as well. Did a longest bike ride. Now, this may not sound like a lot to some of our listeners, but we did a night ride last night from our neighborhood all the way downtown and back. So it was like almost 24 miles.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was awesome other than the fact that I felt like I spent a night in San Quentin from being on that bicycle seat.
Those
wow.
inner hammies and rectal area are sore, huh?
Yeah, definitely go and cush it. I was picking on the other guy that was with us because he had bicycle shorts on, but they had the pad, in the backside. And, by the time we made the turn, I was like, I'll switch with you right now. I will switch with you right now. So
It
it was
crazy.
a good time.
He's not too crazy because he wore
No, he's actually the smartest guy on the trip.
He's done it before.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And so it was a good time. Kids are doing great. One of my boys has got his first BMX race tomorrow.
Whoop, whoop.
So Caden, he's gonna be doing some BMX dirt track racing.
What's he
tomorrow.
riding?
Huh?
What's he riding?
I have no idea.
You don't know what kind of bike it is?
I have no idea. It's not like super official, but it's his. He's been going to this track, and now he's into it, of course.
Now you're gonna be buying a Haro.
Well, he just got a bike given to him, so I'm hoping that'll last for.
You're gonna have to buy a Haro.
Get you a mongoose from Walmart.
Oh, them mongooses is real.
You either have to get them a Diamondback. I don't even know if Diamondback's around anymore. Do they still make Diamondbacks?
Like the ones with the rattlers?
No. It's a bike brand. Haro's the one. Like Haro frames. Back when I lived in Colorado, which was like, I don't know, 150 years ago. Haro
aged well.
Yeah.
The apricot lotion.
It's the apricot lotion paired with the CrossFit.
Oh man.
No, I think they were like $650 for the frame.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's no wheel. There's no forks. There's no nothing. It's just the frame.
The one I was on
But you
last
can hold
night
it
was
one
given to my neighbor, and then he built. So the frame was given to him, and then he built the rest of the bike around it, and it was very light. I mean, I couldn't pick it up.
Yeah.
There's a bike shop just right down the road from us over here.
Is there?
Yeah.
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 So over there by
everywhere in
the
Chattanooga.
not Thin Fusion, but that's lemongrass sushi.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
sushi.
Yeah.
Sorry, different topic. Yeah, everything's great, and I don't even know what else is going on. Training some new dude for the JOB, and driving all over creation for that, and things are awesome. Very blessed.
It's good stuff. You? Oh.
Man, it's been a pretty awesome week here too. My effects sound weird. It's awesome. But yeah, it's yeah, right.
Right.
Do I sound high, guys?
Like no. Earlier?
Yeah. Like
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
oh man, never mind. So I think this week, and I typed this up kind of when I had the epiphany of it.
Epiphany.
It was, and we've talked about this in business in the past, but having, when what you're reading and what you're watching and what you're listening to are all aligned, it's pretty fucking awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
And I think, I think for what we want to achieve in our futures, I don't think necessarily we have the mindset for it now, but it's incredibly important to make sure what we are listening to, reading, and watching is getting us ready for that, because I think it helps cultivate the mindset to achieve what you want now. And then it helps you, not just help you cultivate the mindset you need now to accomplish your goals and crush your goals, but it also helps it cultivate the mindset later, because as you as you cultivate this new mindset, and you set your goals, and this kind of off the last time, but either way, you start accomplishing the goals you have set currently. It stretches you, right, because you've achieved them, and it continues to build on your foundations that you've laid for yourself with what you're putting in. And it's cool to look back a week and see just a week and see where I was and kind of where I am now. So I've been very, as I build my calendar out, I set my goals for that day, and I don't even I look at the calendar daily, but I translate it to my phone, and then I look back at the paper calendar I set to see what I've accomplished over a week. And you want to talk about a testosterone booster, a little confidence booster, and be able to poke your chest out a little bit, because you look back, you're like, I did everything I said I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That's freaking sweet, dude. But there's never been a time where I've ever, except this week, where what I'm reading, watching, and listening to have all aligned.
Yeah, it's a
like
sweet
they're
spot
all
for
speaking
sure.
the same
Yep.
message, right? They're all supporting the same thing, and they're not all from the same person, which is great too. So it's neat, man. It's been a super freaking cool week, and it's helped me in just about every area of my life, not just my job, but here at the house too. It helps me be a little more conscious, and there's a P word I'm looking for that I can't think because I've got sort of a headache tonight. Thanks, Rain, but
What?
can't think
What
of
just
it.
happened?
I just have a headache.
The rain gives you a headache?
Oh, dude, when a good high pressure storms comes through, I'm done. Yeah, for sure, I'm done for.
Just call you if it's serious.
Yeah, like, oh, we're gonna die today, guys. Got a huge headache. It's over. Good luck. Love you guys.
Did
Hunker
not know
down.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know for later.
Yeah.
That's good to know for later.
I'm thinking about having a fire tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, how's your head?
It's
looking,
clear.
looking
We're
bad,
good.
guys.
Yeah. So our week has been very productive. Likewise with the rest of the people on the table here, and cool thing is, there's a few things that we accomplished just by creating connections, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. One, there was a telephone pole that was broke on my property, and my next door neighbor and another person tried to call to get it fixed, and then I ended up making the right connections, literally just talking to somebody who sounded like they knew what they were doing. And I was like, hey man, come on, I'm in a situation, just kind of worked on building that relationship to where he can actually say, hey, this is what we can do. And then finally got the right connection to find out who was responsible for it, because apparently these poles are owned by somebody, and finally got the right person to come out and actually fix it, which was pretty cool. So, and then with the JOB and some other things that we were working toward, actually made another connection. Which the reason why I wanted to really talk about this, I just felt good about talking about fixing the pole because my neighbor was like, dude, you're the man. But anyway,
Back to that humility.
small wins,
Yeah.
feels good. But anyway,
I love me.
I
Yes.
love me. That's what it says on the back of his shirt, actually.
absolutely, I'd wear that.
And the front of his
endorse
shirt.
I'd wear that.
I love lamp.
it.
Do you
Also
really
tattooed
love
on his
it?
chest. Backwards. So when he looks in the mirror, you can see it.
Exactly. So I can read it.
That's cool.
What
No.
mama don't know won't hurt her.
No, I'm good. But so no, I actually was actually doing some stuff for work and actually needed some news services or whatever. And one of the connections that I ended up making, he worked with a company that was going to be able to support me with what I was looking for. After the spiel and everything, we were on a Skype message or a Zoom call or whatever you want to call it. He could see me, I couldn't see him because I didn't have a
Video conference.
video conference.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't have a camera on my desktop. So after the conversation, I was like, dude, you kind of look like you handle yourself well. You well kept. Are you into personal growth? Because sometimes it's like what O was talking about before, is like one thing is good, but then the other is lacking. And surprisingly enough, he was like, dude, I'm open to anything that you have suggestion wise. And we started talking a little bit about like what he's looking to accomplish or what have you. And then we talked about if he listened to podcasts, and that's kind of where we came in. And lo and behold, this guy actually played for the Steelers. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, we won't hold that against him.
No, we won't hold that against him. I know none of us were Steeler fans, and I'm not a huge, sport fan. Or
It's in
keeping up
Canada,
with
right?
stuff.
Other than South Florida, you would love that team.
Love that team.
The South Florida team. The
I don't
South
know.
Florida mascots.
But it was a really cool conversation, and since then opened the doors to where he could listen to some of our stuff, and he's given us good input, and it's on social media. And it was really neat just to be able to do that. And I started thinking about how all these small connections throughout life, and I don't really have a framework for how this episode's going to go, so just kind of going off the seat of my pants. But if that's the right verbiage, what's the
no?
What is it? Correct me. Cameron's always the one that corrects me with almost everything that I have to say.
I've never heard that sequence of words together.
What is it? Going by the.
I'm flying by the seat of my pants.
Flying by the seat of my pants. Okay.
I knew what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
But everybody else around the world might not.
Flying.
Whatever.
Yeah. My best friend, he always says, "I mean what you know," because he knows I flip things all the time. So
Wilsonisms.
Yeah, Wilsonisms. But there's a lot. But anyway, I was looking back based off this conversation on other small connections, and just really how this table was formed is just by very finite connections that some of us were stretched in that time to make that connection, and just how it opened up the world to where we're at today. And it was really cool, just kind of in retrospect, just in that little, 15-minute, just kind of, morning ritual that I do every single day now. Thank you, JP. Mm-hmm. It was really cool just kind of thinking through some of those things, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about tonight. Mm-hmm. And what the importance of stretching yourself and making those connections, especially as men, because, sometimes over-masculine people have the tendencies to not really be communicative. They don't really want to talk to people. They're not really just, the center of the room, or whatever. And I want to talk about that. I want to give you guys get the floor and talk a little bit on the mic on your, maybe struggle, what you've done to help fix that if you did, and also what those connections may have happened in your life that was beneficial. So whoever wants to go.
Well, I 100% agree with the fact that making connections with people is incredibly valuable. I mean, it is one of the most valuable things you can learn to do. And it's not just so there's no misunderstanding from some people that may be hearing this, it's not a manipulative thing. It's a true connection and caring about the other person. And I do work in sales, and really I was training this guy today, and I was telling him, and he picked up what he knows. But it's not even selling. It's truly connecting with somebody. Like with what I do, it's in-home stuff. It's for home improvement. It is not about like a pitch or whatever or high pressure thing or anything like that. It's about, are you likable and can they trust you, right? That is all I try to do. And then we have a good product, but I mean the product there's a lot of good products. It's great, but it's comparable to other things. Right. It's not like it's just a Lamborghini versus a whatever, a Yugo. Most people won't even know what that is, or a bicycle. But the truth is, people will do business with me because they trust me and they like me. Right. That's it, right? And it's because I make a connection with them. I make a connection on their terms, on things that they like and they enjoy. Most of the time when I'm at someone's house doing estimates or selling or whatever you want to call it, I am not even 50% of the time I'm talking about something else. Yesterday I had a guy bringing portraits out that his wife had taken, bringing them out to the front porch. Like he was so in. Today I had somebody telling me all about her dad breaking his hip as a Sam's greeter. I mean, like, just stuff that has nothing to do with what I'm there for technically, and yet it has everything to do with it because I listen and I actually care, and people want you to, they want to be heard. So there's that aspect of it where it can help you in your career and not just in sales. I think that's effective even if you're an engineer, because you're always selling something. There's moving pieces in every organization, or if you're in management like what O does, there's always some reason to help people understand that you truly care about them accomplishing what they want. And typically, if you help other people accomplish what they want, that will help you accomplish what you want. From kind of a different aspect, I'm thinking about just that whole, whatever the story was about the, what was the thing? The post that fell over? Light poles or something, whatever you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, the pole, yeah.
But having connections with people and having that kind of arrow in the quiver, so to speak, can really be helpful in crunch time. We've got our 5-year-old starting kindergarten this year, and it's obviously an interesting year for somebody to be starting school. And there's a lot of questions, a lot of things up in the air, and we haven't really been getting communication from the school the way we'd like to. And we mentioned that to our neighbor who happens to be on the school board. And we have a great connection with her and her family. And literally in the conversation at 7:00 at night, she is emailing the director and superintendent and all these other people. And 8:00 the next morning, I've got somebody calling me. And then that afternoon, I had the teacher calling me. And it went from we're totally in the dark to people reaching out to us just because we had the right connection with the right person. And again, It wasn't manipulative. It was simply that person was in a position to help us, and she liked us and she likes us and trusts us, and she wants to help us, right? And so therefore now we know what's going on, right? So instead of being totally in the dark and wondering what the hell we're about to do here in a couple of weeks when school starts,
like most of everybody else in the world.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I don't think. I think some people misunderstand greatness, and nobody becomes great alone. It's going to require a team. It's going to require you to create connections with people. And Cam, you said something about it's when you make connections with people, you have to be able to make a good connection if you expect to get anything out of it. And it's not for the sake of saying I want to make a connection with you because I need something out of you. It's a genuine connection with people, and
it's not a connection if it's not genuine.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talked previously about the difference between the personality ethics and character ethics, and the two things. And you could sometimes with that you could take it as like personality ethics are a little bit kind of hokey and stuff, but they're not. They're really important. Your personality ethics are going to open the door. Your personality ethics are how you first interact with somebody. Your character ethics are what create a long-term relationship with that individual that care about you and are willing to do things for you and or follow you if you are a leader. So I think the connection part is super important. And we learned that in business together, kind of working together in the past, and it is one of the most uncomfortable things you'll do. Just because it's not natural to just randomly talk to people. But it can become that way, and it is one of the most rewarding things in the world that you'll ever develop is the ability to walk up to random people and start conversations, and when you walk away, people go, you know what, I like that guy.
Yep.
And the cool thing about it is you can open the door for people and genuinely be interested. If you're going to try to make a connection with somebody, don't be an asshole. Like, go up and make a connection with somebody because you're genuinely interested in something. Like if you don't know shit about shoes, don't go up and compliment somebody's shoes and be like, man, those are nice ass shoes, and then not have anything about it, and I understand you're not going to be, perfect in every approach that you do with people, but networking is a very important thing. And I would suggest that anybody listening, I don't care what level of life you're in, you need to learn how to network with people. You need to learn how to connect with people. You need to learn how to say hi. And, sometimes the conversations are not going to be deep. Sometimes it's just going to be a hi. Hey, how you doing? Whatever it may be. So I mean, I've made tons of connections with people that have turned into long-term things. Like, I mean, one of the good friends of mine that's become a good friend over the past couple months was a simple hi that I did, and he's taught me so much about CrossFit and technique and Olympic lifting and things that I didn't know. I mean, it was just a simple, hey, how you doing, man? Notice that, dude, you're killing it over there. Your form is like perfect. It's like it's almost impeccable and stuff. And that was a genuine compliment because I wanted to talk to him about it. And from that point on, he's been helping me. I've been helping him, and it's a mutual relationship. So, there's so much value in networking. I mean, I don't even think we have enough time to talk about all the benefits
value
from it. Yeah.
I want to mention a book real quick before whoever has another thought. But John Maxwell, I know we kind of rep books on here all the time. But John Maxwell has written a lot of amazing books, but probably my favorite of his and one of my top 5 of all time is Everyone Communicates, Few Connect.
That's a great book.
The first time I read that book, it was one of those books where as I was reading it, I was noticing change. I was noticing like a tangible change in my life. Like, It was amazing to me how much what I was reading was actually, implementing what I was reading was actually making a difference. And then I've read it again since then. Man, that is the number one communication book, connection book that I would recommend to anybody. Everyone Communicates, Few Connect.
Thank you for
John C. Maxwell.
John C.
You're welcome, John. I'm your friend.
It's a book you read, and the light bulbs in the living room while you're reading just keep getting brighter and brighter.
You start seeing clear, much clearer.
I think network is incredibly invaluable. Like Josh, just to lead off what everyone said. You never know when the guy next to you is going to be your boss, right?
Right.
Or you never know when the I don't even know, the guy you pass in the hallway every day, maybe a time where maybe your department's getting downgraded, and you're looking for another job, but you've formed a great relationship with this other guy or gal even, and they know who you are now, and they're like, oh yeah, definitely, we've got a spot open, come on, or maybe it's that cute girl. If you're a girl, it's a guy that you want to talk to. Like, that's networking too, man. Like, flirting is networking, right? So man, the proper relationship could change the path for your life in the craziest of ways. Yeah. Everyone at this table is a very, very, very thin thread, besides maybe me and Josh. I mean, because our wives are related, but Josh and I have crossed paths several times in life, and nothing. It was like, hey, let me introduce you guys. What are you idiots? Let me introduce you guys again. Like, why aren't you becoming?
There was no connection.
Yeah. I mean, initially it was. We were just I think we're two different crowds. Really, as all it was when we were younger.
I don't even think the first time that we met, when Dina was telling me who you were, that I was like, I don't think I've met him. She's like, yeah, you did. I was like, no, I didn't.
Oh yeah,
you had long hair and a fedora.
Big time.
And I was like, real long hair and a fedora.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah,
no idea. I was like, what in the world?
Sharpened up quite. Yeah, come a long way. Rock music to podcast, guys. Let's go. Whoop, whoop. But you can, man. Like, thin threads. A simple conversation or kind words in the hallway can change everything. I can't tell you how many times at work I've just, really recently with the Shepherd Challenge and the 5 nice things every day, I've developed a few friendships, passing people in the hall, or even, calling people and just seeing how things are going with some of my peers that I normally don't.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a tendency to, it comes down to the easy way. Right. So it's easy not to make that phone call. I'm like, hey man, how's your day going? How's your team doing? Right. And that's easy not to do. Yeah. I think it's tougher because it exerts a certain amount of energy to care about someone else's day enough to be able to call them and build that rapport and build that relationship. It's been great. It's been great. So like this week alone, I needed a guy to translate for one of my reps, right? Because it was a big business deal, and no one on my team speaks Spanish. Well, one of my peers does. One of the other teams does. So I gave him a call, and he was able to wrap it up for us.
Yeah.
And all I said was like, man, like, oh, you dinner. I said, tell you what, we'll take the wives out. We'll do a double date, and I'll pay. I appreciate that kind of thing. And it was just cool, man. Like, it's fine threads, stuff you don't have to do, but you should do to not only solidify maybe a successful path for yourself, help create some friendships and some good, business associations along the way.
You said something that was really cool that hit me when you were talking about seeing like value in people. Like, you never know, like whenever you meet people, what they're, the connections that you make are valuable and stuff like that based on who they are. And there's all kinds of different, like you just talked about somebody that was able to translate things of that nature. So, one of the things that you have to be very conscious of is the fact of like, don't get so high and mighty and so big that you believe you have all the answers and there's people that can't provide things to you. Some of the most successful people in the world will hang their hat on the fact that they can learn something from every single person that they get in contact with. And that is an unbelievable mindset to have, because if you look at and that's from the janitor to the CEO of a company. You can walk into the CEO's office and obviously everybody knows you can learn something from that individual because he didn't get there without developing a mindset. But there's something that janitor has that you don't. Guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's something he has that you don't. He may not be as successful as you. He may not have monetary value like you do, or whatever it may be. May not be as good of a father as you. But there's something that he knows that you don't. And you have an opportunity to learn it. And it might take you 5 minutes. But take advantage of it.
Right.
Well, I mean, a year ago, this guy was my boss's peer.
Yeah.
Right? So now he's my peer.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and we had talked several times then when I was still in, just an employee before getting to that management level, and just kind of built some basic rapport on the front end. Like, I just talk to people when I pass them, right? Yep. We learned that in a lot of the business that we did coming up. But it's, when you pass someone in the hallway, just say something. Or you pass someone on the road, like, hey, how you doing? It doesn't have to be like, it's only going to be weird if you make it weird. Yeah. Don't look at them like, why not? How you doing? Just ask them like, hey, how you doing, man? How's your day?
A smile can go a long way.
Speak with your chest.
Yeah.
Speaking of people connecting with you while you're driving by, a lot of what I do for work, I'm in the car, as you guys know. And occasionally, I have to pick up my phone and look at it for something. And I was at a stoplight in Nashville. I was at a stoplight.
Good answer.
Yep. And but I hear somebody, hey, and over to my left in the big Dodge truck, and I look over there, and it's a non-uniformed police officer showing me his badge, and he's just going, "Be careful."
Oh, dude.
I was like, I appreciate you. It was one of those, like, I could have got you, but I'm off duty.
What, you didn't start cussing him out and stuff? Or?
No, and he was black too, and I didn't even get offended by that. Yeah, I didn't even care.
crazy.
Didn't even care, And I didn't think he was being racist because I was white. Never even crossed my mind, quite honestly.
Hey, that's another great conversation. Talk to people of different cultures.
Yes.
I feel like
Big
people
time.
avoid people from different cultures. Like they just
scared of them.
naturally do. Yeah, because they're scared of what they don't know.
Yeah.
And naturally I think that's something that's really cool. And sometimes, I'm a firm believer, and we talk to our boys about this all the time. Like, be the light in somebody's life. If you're not making somebody else's life better today, then you wasted your day. I don't care how productive you were. If somebody else's life is not better because you were here today, and that can be, like we just talked about, those 5 random acts of kindness. That's a big part of it. And sometimes all it takes is for that individual that is having a shitty day to have somebody that they either look up to or they think is sharp or whatever it may be that just says hi to them. And sometimes that's
all you need to do.
That's a huge jump. Like you said, a smile and a hi will go a long ways. But I want to throw a caveat into there. Please understand that it's easier to talk to that janitor than it is to talk to the CEO.
Right.
So don't fool yourself. There's an 80-20 rule that applies to this too. You should talk to everybody, but don't spend 80% of your time with people that haven't accomplished what you want in life.
Right.
So
and also on that same note is talk to people that make you uncomfortable.
Right.
I mean, like, don't just talk to now, if you start there, that's great. If you're like, I never connect with anybody, I never talk to anybody, well, then it may be easier to start with somebody that's at your same level in life, however you want to, whatever that means. Or it may be easier to talk to the server when you sit down because they got to talk to you anyways, but then build on that. Like, okay, now I'm comfortable talking to the people that are going to come up and talk to me because that's their job. I'm going to talk to somebody that kind of is similar to me. I'm going to start talking to people that may really know some things that I won't learn unless I get uncomfortable and say hi. Right. And so that's a great point. Just connect with like you said, you can learn something from everyone. So there's no like, which person should I talk to? Yes,
everybody.
Yeah,
no matter who it is, and it just but be genuine, not to be coming into that conversation wanting to talk all about yourself. Go into those conversations seeking to learn more about that individual, because you never know what their background is or their hobbies, their interests. It could be something that lines up. Like he could have been a baseball coach. And you're like, your son's looking for a baseball team or somebody local that you can go and trust, and they're in your sphere of influence. It's in your work field or whatever. It could be in your neighborhood. It could be anything.
One of the coolest things that I ever heard that was kind of an epiphany for me, because I'm a talker, is I heard from a very successful couple, the less you say, the more they like you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You can literally walk away from a conversation. You can say hi, make a couple comments about something that you like about them, compliment them, whatever it may be. Genuinely, don't throw out these BS comments. Do a genuine compliment of something that is that they've done well or whatever it may be, and then let them talk.
Yep.
And you walk away. You could have said 10 words total in a 30-minute conversation and walk away, and I guarantee you those people will go, I really, really like that guy.
And he's a great conversationalist.
Yes, because nobody wants to listen.
Yes.
Nobody wants to listen. That's a skill that we're missing.
Yes.
Be the last to talk kind of thing. Be the first to talk in those kind of situations and engage, but be the last one to talk about yourself.
Have some good icebreakers in those conversations on how to start it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's perfect.
Like, how much does a polar bear weigh?
Yeah, no, don't. Enough to break the ice.
Yeah,
my name's Josh.
Yeah. Don't use that one.
Does this smell like chloroform?
Oh my God.
Just kidding. My name's Josh.
Was it Hall Pass?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Does this smell like chloroform?
Yeah. Hey, God, I think it's as far as continuing a conversation, right? It's easy to start one, but I think the way you keep it going is with open-ended questions. It all comes back to leadership is open-ended questions.
Yep.
Listening, open-ended questions, having people self-discover a lot of things, right? Mm-hmm. And that will, I don't know, man. I think it's almost weird talking about this, but I know there's people listening that no one's
They
Just
new.
haven't heard yet. It's
Yeah.
new,
They
right?
have no idea.
But we've covered so many things, and I've talked about this enough at work with my peers that it's almost muscle memory at this point. Which is and I'm kind of having like this weird flashback of like back to when Josh mentioned when I had long hair and
That is a weird
there's
flashback.
So I did. It was pretty.
Dude, I wish we had a picture of that.
I've got one somewhere.
I want to
Okay.
see it.
I've got it.
I want them to see a picture.
Actually,
'Cause
I
it was
want-
a purple suit. Wasn't
Actually,
it?
I'm going to say this right now. We're
green,
throwing it out there
green.
that when we find it, when O finds it, we will put it up on our story that day.
Yep.
Oh, easy.
Yes.
Easy. Done.
Yes.
Tonight
yes.
even.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just
So
the
I'll
changes.
actually use it for the promotion of this episode.
There you go. There you go. That would be great.
That
Yeah,
would
we'll do that.
If you go all the way down to the bottom of my Facebook, you'll see a couple.
Yeah.
3, actually. I left 3.
So-
to remember how luscious it was.
One thing, going back to what we've hit on a few times is and what Josh was just saying about letting other people talk. It's really creating connections beyond the initial connection, and building that connection, building that relationship comes to putting the other person first,
Yeah.
right? Remembering things like, so you did ask a bunch of open-ended questions. What were their answers?
Right.
Do you remember that tomorrow if you have another conversation with them? Like if they tell you that, and I'll just use me for example because I was just talking about it. If they tell you, hey, my son's got his first BMX race tomorrow, well, when you talk to him 2 days from now, are you going to remember to say, hey, how was your son's BMX race?
Yeah.
Do you understand how much that means to that person that you remembered that?
Yeah. And that
You
you
know?
even care.
That you even care to ask?
Right.
Remembering their name is a huge deal. Like the number one thing you can do for a connection is remember their freaking name. Like if and I hear it every day and it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. I'm terrible at remembering names. I'm terrible at remembering names.
Don't
Quit
speak
telling
that.
yourself that. Stop programming your brain that you're terrible at anything.
Because you will be for the
I
rest of
just
your life.
disappeared completely, but maybe I'm still recording. So, O just gave me the finger of death. Like you better freaking keep
You're
talking,
in
or I'm going to
trouble.
cut you off. But yeah, so remember names and like practice. There's things you can do. Like you don't always have to be bad at that if you think you are right now. Like repeat that. Like if I meet you, it's like, hey, I'm Cameron. Oh, my name's Josh. Oh, hey, Josh. I repeat it immediately, right? And
Say
then
it
I
2 or
connect
3
it to
times.
something else, you know. And these are all simple, maybe practical things. But like O was just saying, maybe you haven't ever done it before. But if I hear you say my name's Josh, well then maybe I put something in my mind with another person I know named Josh or whatever it may be that connects me to that name. And then, you know, putting other people first as far as like little stuff. Like one thing I try to do, and this may sound super silly and ridiculous, but like if somebody pops up on Facebook that it's their birthday, I'd say 99.9% of the time I take a second and tell them happy birthday.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I know that everybody does it on Facebook. Okay, maybe they do. Maybe so don't do that. Send them a personal text instead of doing it on Facebook.
Well, and if there's that little shortcut where it's just like that little happy birthday button that pops up that you can click on, don't do that.
No,
type happy birthday, whatever their name is.
Right.
Use their name.
Right.
That's everybody loves to see their name. That's the reason why some of these really successful marketing ploys and stuff like that when you get an email, it's like, hello, Joshua.
Yeah. Hello,
Like,
Joshua.
Well, that's got a good ring to it. What you got to say?
I like how you started.
Yeah. But I think you hit on something that's really big, and I would love to talk about some practical things
Yes.
as far as connecting. Like, because I think
gonna
that
get
is
to that.
super practical. Being able to go talk to somebody and use their name 3, 4, maybe 5 times throughout the beginning of that conversation, so that it concretes in your mind. And I think that one of the biggest things is you have to listen with the intent to understand what they're saying.
Right.
Don't just listen to what they're saying so you can give them a chance to talk because you have your next question lined up. Listen with the intent to understand what they're saying, because that will carry on the conversation.
Right.
Because you'll find connections within their answer where you guys have common ground.
Yep.
You know,
And that's what you're looking for.
right. So you need to listen with the intent to understand. So that's great that, say their name multiple times throughout the beginning of and don't be weird. Like, hey,
That was-
Chris, how you doing, Chris? Hey, Chris, it's really cool that we met here at Dick's, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to see you over here by the sunglasses. Which ones are you looking at, Chris?
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
once you do that, it starts getting awkward,
Yeah, it
and then
does.
it's like, what does this guy want from me?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It's not a scam, I promise.
promise.
Don't pull one of
Crazy
those.
thing. Dude, I love it though. The progression, whenever you start to learn things like that, like if you're successful in any kind of business whatsoever, especially if you are entrepreneurial at heart and you decide you want to own your own business at some point in life, you're going to have to learn how to network, because you're going to have to build that thing from the ground up. You're going to have very little to nothing, and you're going to have to build it, and it's going to be your responsibility to do it. So you're going to have to learn how to do that. And guess what you got to do to learn how to do that? You got to screw it up.
Yep.
Don't worry about screwing up. There's a lot of people out there. You can have some bad conversations with people and not die. Like they can't. What was it?
can't eat you.
They can't eat
They
you.
can't
The old
eat you.
adage: they can't eat you, man.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to mess up. And if you do mess up, laugh and walk away. Like,
it.
yep, sorry, man. And walk away. Don't make it awkward. Don't force the conversation.
Right.
Like, oh, where are you going, man? Where are you going?
I think it's more of a, in the majority of cases, it's going to be more of keeping your eyes open for opportunities to connect, not necessarily going out and forcing conversations like
Sure.
what you just said. It's just
Right.
it's just being aware. It's having your eyes up, having your head up, getting out of your phone. When you're out in public, nodding, eye contact, smiles, all that kind, holding doors, like anything that would create a potential conversation. Then go for it. And a good, honestly, you could say hi. And if they don't say hi back with like body language, eye contact, smile, if they don't say that, dude, don't force a conversation.
Yep.
Like
Right.
if you say hi and they go, then roll on, man. It's okay. You probably don't want it. Maybe there isn't anything you can learn from that guy.
I promise
Except
you
for
this.
how to get people to not talk to you.
Correct.
Right.
I'm always walking away like, good talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good talk. Good talk.
Yeah, but always. So one of the things, and Cameron was a really, really big driver in my networking ability being developed. But one of the things that I always remember you saying was, be genuine in your conversation, truly care about the people that you're talking to, but always win. Don't ever walk away from a conversation and not win. So if somebody's having a bad day and you walk up to some jerk and he just grunts at you and stuff like that, make sure that he hears you. Oh, good conversation, bro, and then walk away. Win that conversation though. You don't take
for
the
sure.
hit. You win the
It's not
conversation.
personal, dude. I mean, you've never met that guy. It can't be personal.
No.
So don't take it that way. It's just they're just having a bad day.
And
like
you don't have
said.
to. You don't have to be a dick to win it though. So just
Not
for
always.
clarity, not always. I mean, now sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes
Reciprocate
Yeah.
in like mind
Yeah.
or like tone.
But you can have fun with the situation and walk away.
Yeah,
Good
for
conversation, man.
For sure.
Like you can't blame your father your whole life.
Right. We're working on that. Shepherds of Men. Shepherds of men. You
That's
should.
right. Yeah.
So I mean, when you go into conversations, you want to talk to them about like their family, if they're from the location, if they're from here. That's a great question I like to go to, just because you can find out where they come from, what their background is, and then you go into just what they do for a living. Form, yeah.
Family.
Family, occupation, recreation. What do they like to do for fun?
Motivation.
What do they like to do for hobbies? And then what motivates them? What gets them out of the bed every morning? And you can open up a lot of different avenues in those conversations and connect through sports, through what they do for fun, what they do for work could be something. And if you don't know what that profession is, ask those questions like, oh, what is that? I don't know.
Yeah, don't lie about stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. That's the worst thing you could do is be like, oh, yeah, and act like you know about it. They know you don't.
No,
Right.
Especially
yeah.
if they say, like, what do you do? Oh, I'm an aeronautics engineer. Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they start telling you about it. They know you have no clue.
I
what
love
they're do-
working on planes.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Right. I love swimming.
I fixed a chair
It's
once
aquatics.
on a Southwest flight.
But like if you aeronautics and aquatics are not the same. So
They're
yeah,
both
no, right.
fluids.
So, but just flat out say, listen, just the best thing you could do is be like, dude, that sounds awesome, but I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
You know?
And curiosity.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity.
They're going to
for sure.
appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
You know, I don't expect you to know what it means.
So hey, we skimmed over this, so I want to make sure.
sorry.
I want to make sure that it was clear though. So one of the things that I think O brought up and Wilson elaborated on was form. So like just to slow down so that you can hear what was said there. Those are generally the biggest conversational pieces that you can really get to know somebody and genuinely get to know somebody, because their family generally matters to most everybody on the planet. Yeah. Their occupation, everybody likes talking about their job. Even if they hate their job, they like talking about their job, what they do and stuff. And then recreation obviously is what they care about. That's what they do outside of their job. And then their motivation is what drives them. And some people may not know their motivation yet. That may be, a little bit deeper conversation and stuff, but that is a great little high level, hey, if we can hit on these right here, you will create a relationship with
it's a
somebody.
normal pattern of conversation.
That's right.
Absolutely. You know?
Yeah,
Yep.
You will get the information you need for those follow-up conversations through that conversation too. And it doesn't have to be like, so how's your family?
Check.
So what do you want to do? So what do you like to do? What motivates you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think you should.
done.
Should have a
Got 'em
little,
all checked off. Yeah.
flip notebook. I'm going to write it down. Your name was Herbert.
Yeah.
Is that right? Was it
Herbert
Herbert?
Bear.
Herbert.
Perfect. Okay, I got his name. What's your date of birth?
Social
So speaking of family, how old are your kids?
Yeah.
middle names?
Can you verify? Can you verify your address, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need the last 4 of your social.
Yeah. One more. Yeah. One more again.
Okay, and here's one thing too. Like, okay, if you are out to make connections, new friends in general, which is good to do, especially if people in your community. What I always do, because sometimes my memory, if I haven't talked to you in a while, I might get a little hazy on what we talked about.
Like
like
earlier today.
you have the memory of a goldfish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why
well,
am I
I don't
wet?
want to speak that.
Why am
So,
I wet?
Yeah.
Why am I
right?
wet? No, just
I'm trying to say what I need to say without speaking over my life, because I have a great memory.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah, you speak light. I'll speak down. So we'll do.
So
Good
you'll make it
dichotomy.
real.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody like this, but if your memory is not
Yeah,
so
if your
great.
memory's not so great, use your phone. If you take their name and number down, if that's the case, put their first name, last name, where you met, what you talked about. If you can take any of those takeaways of like, oh, he was really into, rebuilding Harleys or something, you can put the note in there. That way you can come back and be like, hey, man, how's that Harley going? Or whatever the case may be when you go to reconnect. Because it's very important, because you took something from that, and that shows that person that you were genuinely interested in that person.
And I think that's the point where some people hear that and they go, you're manipulating that relationship. And that's just not true. What it ultimately comes down to is where your heart is for doing those things. But putting those kinds of notes in there so you're genuinely interested. So in my mind, I go, man, how much more interested are you to take the time to make notes on the conversation, or how much more interested in having a good connection are you if you take the time to not on the first conversation to be weird, but as you get to know them, you find out their birthday and you put a reminder in your phone or in your calendar for when their birthday is. Some people would say, oh, that's just, you're trying to, take advantage of this relationship because of this, whatever. No, I genuinely care about their birthday, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to remember everybody's birthday.
No.
Yeah.
Right? But when I call them or text them on their birthday because my calendar reminded me, do you think they're going to feel good about it?
Heck yeah,
Do you think they're going to care it's because I had a reminder? Do you think that they probably know that I put a reminder in my phone because I'm not a genius and I'm not going to remember everybody? Of course. But to me, it's like you cared enough about me to put me in your calendar.
It's
Right.
not manipulative though. It's
No.
it's abnormal. That's why people don't
abnormal,
understand
yeah.
it. Like
Yes.
it's abnormal. You should care enough about people around you
Yeah.
to understand the things that make them tick.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the whole birthday thing. One of the things that I do, and this is something that my wife looked at me and was like, "What are you doing?" On my birthday, when I get all my birthday wishes and stuff like that, I don't just send out a mass thank you to everybody who's gave me a birthday wish and stuff like that. I respond to everybody that says happy birthday,
Individually.
every single person.
I do my best.
And I know that's I'm
that's one of the things
I'm a pretty big deal. I do.
A lot of people tell me happy birthday, so I do my best to get back to all you guys. So.
I mean, if you're a big deal, I mean, obviously you've got thousands and thousands of followers and stuff like that. You're probably not practical to be able to do that, but at the same time, you should make an effort to do things like that. I mean, it's just like people that do handwritten notes.
Oh, that's a
those
huge
are
deal.
huge.
I want to come back to that, but I
Yeah.
want to talk about this whole responding thing because I think that's really, really important. And some of the people that I respect most in the leadership world do that. Like every comment they respond to. And does that take a lot of time? Of course it does. But why do you think they have such a following? Because they genuinely care about each individual person. They don't just post something out there and they get a bunch of responses and then they give a blanket statement. Yeah. I mean, I could name a bunch of names of different guys that do it. And it's taking the time to sit down whenever you do that. I don't care if you're taking a shit, man. Scroll through and respond to 5 or 6 people, right? Like take the time to do it. That is caring about somebody. I was going somewhere else with that, and I forgot what it was.
Showing appreciation, making those people feel important. Everybody wants to feel important.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what
Yeah.
you believe, even if they grunt at you, everybody wants to feel important, and they feel important when you respond to them. You respond back in something, or you just engage and stuff like that. And I think one of those things that we talked about with mindset is when you walk into a situation, you're nervous about it or whatever, change your mindset. You should be starting to think about, dude, everybody wants to talk to me. Like there is smiling. All I see is smiling faces everywhere I go. And everybody wants to talk to me. Yeah. And that may seem odd to you, and that's fine. It's okay. It can be odd. And you made a comment about if you're into if you're out there trying to learn how to network and stuff like that. I don't think it should be an if. I think everybody should network. Everybody. I don't care what you do for a living. everybody should network.
Makes the world go round. Relationships do.
Well, maybe it'll fix some of this bullshit we're dealing with right now. To be honest with you, I think we're in the situation that we're in because everybody sits behind a username and they don't actually truly connect with people. If they would go out and connect with people, they'd realize that, oh, because he's black doesn't mean that he's a bad guy. Because he's a cop, it doesn't mean that he's going to assault you. Because she's a woman doesn't mean she's a feminist. You know, because just because they put labels on stuff doesn't mean that they're true. Because if you'll go out here and have some damn conversations with some people and stop being such a bitch, then you probably would have a totally different outlook on how people are.
That was directed to the dudes, by the way.
Yeah, by a bitch. Yeah, that's
For clarity, this is Shepherds of Men. I mean, we do have women listeners, but
sorry. That kind of stuff right there fires me up because I talk to so many good people on a daily basis, and then I get on Facebook and hear about how everybody's bad. Are there shitty people?
Yes.
Yes, there are. I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying there's not. But the reason that those people overrun your outlook on what the population is like is because you don't talk to anybody.
Right.
That's why. Sorry.
And O mentioned something too earlier. It's like you never know when that conversation, if you're a guy talking to a girl, where that girl could lead you to your spouse one day, or vice versa. If you're a woman,
that sounds like a pretty hairy situation.
Yeah, no, that's what happened in my situation. In a sense, I actually met somebody who introduced me to my now wife. But if I would have never been nice to that individual, she would have never brought her friend around.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
good point.
it's
kind of similar to me and Candy.
Yeah, I was thinking about making relationship with a girl that leads you to your wife in a different situation. So
mine was in the gutter.
Yeah, that would be.
But no, I mean, that's real. I mean, you never know who sphere of influences you'll be opened up to where you find that significant other. Because everybody's like, there ain't nobody. Well, if you go out there and make some friends, you never know. You might meet the person of your life. But also jobs. Dude, I mean, I'm in logistics today because of this guy right here, and it's been a very successful career for me. Now it's stressful as hell, but it's good and it pays well.
You had to stay.
I know. I actually ended up being really good at it. So that's
it's relative.
That's why I left it. That's why I left it because he was so much better than me. I'm like,
oh my god, no, it wasn't like that. I knew your situation.
No, it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. I was done. I was like, Chris is killing it, and I'm just not. It hurts my self-image. I introduced the guy to the whole world, and I'm gonna go do something else. I started selling candy bars.
$1 a piece.
Hell no, $1.50.
Yeah. Inflation, bro.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would have never even thought about that career if I wouldn't have had that connection with you, or you, and then I wouldn't have had that connection unless I talked to you.
Yeah,
so,
I remember.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool just to see those conversations where they'll lead. And if you have fear blocking you, man, like they alluded to, they're not going to eat you. The worst that they can do is just be like, dude, don't talk to me.
I love what Will Smith said about that. He said he absolutely despises fear. He despises fear so much that every time he gets fearful of something, he attacks it immediately.
And that's how you should live.
Because he hates fear. He hates fear, and every time he fears something, he attacks it. I think that's really cool. That's a different kind of mindset than what most people live with. But yeah, that's dude. I'm telling you, it's been sitting here in the back of my mind. So we were out kind of just networking, talking to people and stuff like that. And we met this really sharp couple that we were talking to and stuff. And I was, having a conversation with a guy. He played football in college and stuff like that, good shape and everything. And we're having a great conversation. I look over and, his wife is like, bad body language, like we talked about. She's kind of like looking off and stuff like that. And I look at my wife and she's kind of like, wide-eyed looking at me, and I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Because they were talking. Well, apparently this woman was a little soggy around the midsection, and my wife walked straight into the conversation. She was like, oh my god, are you pregnant? No. Oh man. No. So here,
not how to connect.
So word to the wise. And hey, that goes back to what we talked about. That is the only way to learn is to screw up. Like you're gonna screw up when you're doing it. But hey, just a pro tip on that. Ask them how many kids they have. Yes. Never ask a woman if she's pregnant. Ask her how many kids she has, and if she is pregnant, she'll say, oh, I've got 1 and 1 on the way, or I've got 2 and 1 on the way, or none and 1 on the way, and she'll tell you. So don't ask.
That's an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, that's a brilliant. Yeah.
The best coin there is just say, when in doubt, throw it out.
I'm so I won't say fearful of that because I want to avoid that conversation so much that like somebody could be in labor. And I'd just be straight eye contact, not assuming anything. You know,
No,
like they could be delivering the kid in the car, and I'd be like, "So you guys just get married?" Whatever. Like I'm not assuming shit.
I've done that too many times to count. Yeah,
That's the fun part, though. So when you screw up, that is the fun part, because the conversations later on. How boring would your conversations be afterwards with your boys and stuff like that if you go, man, remember when every one of our conversations went just how we planned it?
Right.
yeah.
You know, some of the best conversations that we've had is just telling stories about some of these crazy ass interactions that we've had where we've either screwed up or the other person shit their pants while you were talking to them or whatever it may be. Those were some of the best conversations that you have afterwards. So go out there and get after it.
And laugh at it.
Yeah.
You know, when you mess up, it's okay. Just laugh.
Yeah.
It's all good. There's another day coming around.
I think some of the there's two necessary skills if you're chasing success at a high level, and that's learning how to manage people, and that's, we can call it leading people if you'd like.
Yeah.
Managing people is leading and managing people both at the same time. You can lead, but sometimes you have to manage when people don't do that. I'm talking about a company level. If you want to run your own company, you need to be able to sell, and you need to be able to manage and lead people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
One, because you need to learn you need to be able to sell your own stuff, right? Or if you're not in sales, like Cameron said, you're always selling something. Okay, you had to sell yourself to get with your wife or girlfriend, or I don't know, yourself later. I don't know.
Not much selling there.
But think about it, right? I mean, you didn't exactly.
I love me.
I do.
But you didn't.
You had to buy that sex doll.
It's a body pillow.
Full length body pillow. Wow.
Why do you always put it in the microwave?
Well, for those of you that we just lost, we enjoyed your time. Appreciate you listening.
Appreciate you giving us a shot. Next time,
And
but it is though. You know, you were inactively, subconsciously selling yourself to the person that you want to be with, right? It wasn't like, hey, so I've got a 401k and insurance. You know what I'm saying? Pretty good hourly rate. Let's go. Commission. You know, like, that's not how you did it, but subconsciously and through your actions, you sold yourself and who you are as a person to the person that you wanted to be with. And in turn, they wanted to be with you for that reason. So when it comes to networking, it's the same thing when you're building a company or a brand. You're subconsciously selling yourself by every word you say, by every action that you do, and the follow-up through that. Mm-hmm. Right? Like Cameron was talking about, when you ask them about something and they mention it, this weekend, hey, is it okay if I have like a guy? This is a perfect example. So, and I already had this lined up actually, and a reminder, because I call it, we'll just call it manager brain. It's a 3-letter word in AT&T land, but with all their acronyms, good Lord, you need a dictionary for that shit. But it's basically manager brain. I forget everything because everything comes through and it's like a million miles an hour. But the point is, he's got something going on this weekend. He's like, hey, are you still good with me taking off? I was like, absolutely. You're crushing it. Take off. And, but he has stuff going on this weekend. So Monday, when he comes back to work, I'm going to ask him how it goes. And I've got a reminder on my phone to make sure I don't forget. Mm-hmm. Because it is important to me. I do want to know how he's doing. Because, as a leader on my team, and at times I have to manage, but my team is great. They know how to run their own business. So I typically only have to lead. So he's one of the leaders on my team. I want to make sure he's taken care of and that he sees me, that he knows that I see him as a human and not just a number.
Yep.
Right.
And I think that's the importance, is that, it goes back, well, what Cameron or Josh, or I don't know, Chris, maybe you said this, well, why would I want to talk to that person? Like, I'm just using, like, what am I trying to get out of this kind of, what I'm saying? Like, this guy's a human to me, right? Obviously there's an incentive there. He's one of my employees, but at the same time, like, that relationship means something to me. Because I want it to, and that stranger on the road, maybe it's some dude shining shoes or something, man. I want to make, my thing is, when I talk to people, and this should really be, if you want to go anywhere, this should be a really strong mindset that you should adopt. And I'm being pretty forceful with this and very forward. When people get done talking to you, they should be energized, not tired.
Yep. That's
okay?
so true.
This is something that actually, it changed me. Some days we all have long days, and I think if we take that and go to people and bitch about it, we're now being energy vampires, right? Those people are going to be tired after we unload on them. However, there was a situation at work, and I ended up talking to somebody, and we had a new hire coming on, and they were fired up out of their mind. They're like, "This is exactly what I was looking for," and there's this and this and this, and this is what they said here, man. Freaking awesome! They were fired up, man. They were talking about this and mindset and getting after it, man. And they were fired up out of their mind all day. I talked to them at the end of the day; they were still fired up. I'm like, that's a good one. Has he got some friends, brothers and sisters, or something? But that's how fired. Like when people get done talking to you, that's how fired up they should be.
Right.
I always heard that, like when you call someone and your name pops up on their phone, are they excited to answer, or are they like, ugh?
Whose name is it? I don't know.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Anybody.
Like
Wilson's.
yeah. You know,
No value here.
It's because we're just so polar opposites.
Hurry up, wife is about to call in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
What a great one-on-one conversation that would be. I would love to just listen to the two of you talk on the phone to each other.
It's actually been pretty productive every time we have.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think that'd be a fun conversation to sit there and listen to.
Well, we can schedule a meeting. You guys you're invited.
I don't know if he has fun, but I have.
Yeah,
I don't think it would really matter what's going on. I mean,
You guys are at different elevations. One at like 30,000 feet, the other one's at 10,000. I don't see you. I don't see you either. What are you talking about? No, but I think that goes back to like what we were talking about earlier, being the light in people's lives. Man, if you go have a 2-sentence conversation with somebody, when they walk away, do they feel better about themselves?
yeah.
Do they feel, because that, man, I mean, why not? I mean, what do you get out of making somebody feel worse? Because it ain't going to make you feel any better, regardless of what you think. Because I believe some people live their lives like that. As long as I can tear other people down, you know, I'll feel better about myself. But the fact of the matter is, your subconscious takes a hit every time you do that, and then you destroy the relationships that you have around you. It's like that old adage, right? You can't build your building higher than everybody else's by tearing theirs down.
Right.
100%. And then when it comes down to is what you put out into the universe is what you're going to get back tenfold.
Yep.
For sure.
It's sowing your seeds, right? We talked about that. We talked about that before. Sow the seeds. So if you're sowing good seeds, you're going to have a good crop, right? But if you're sowing shit seeds,
Yeah.
Shit seeds.
you got shit sandwiches.
You get shit pie.
Yeah, that's true. The help. That's oh my god.
So this is reminding me of a book that I love that was recommended to me.
Filler?
Yeah.
Yes, I was thinking of the same thing.
Look at you.
No, you aren't.
Wavelengths.
Yes, I swear. I was about to say that. I was like, don't be a bucket.
Oh,
filler.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull up who wrote it. But so it's a kid's book, but honestly, it's a lot of adults should read it a lot.
buddy.
I mean, you should read it a lot, and it's about what you were just saying. Like, are you a bucket filler? Do you fill people's buckets? So the story talks about everybody carries around a bucket all day.
Yep.
And if you are inspiring people or giving people energy, like O was saying, or making people feel better, then you're filling their bucket. And then the other is a bucket dipper, which means you're taking out. So like when people talk to you, you're draining them or whatever. It is a phenomenal book. We've started reading this to our kids. My 5-year-old's been reading this for 3 years. Well, I've been reading it to him for 3 years now. It's one of his favorite books, and it's by Carol McCloud. It's called The Bucket Filler by Carol McCloud. It's really, really, like I said, it's a kid's book, which I would recommend everybody read to their kids. But adults, like every time I read it still, I'm like, this is so phenomenal. It's like the simplest thing on earth, but if everybody would implement it, it would make such a difference.
And it's talking about like you can't fill your bucket by taking away from somebody else. You
no.
can only fill your bucket.
Well,
by
that's what
filling-
made me think about it.
Yeah.
Was he said, like, if you take away from somebody else, it doesn't make you feel better. It makes you feel bad too. So like both your buckets are empty.
So that goes back to what we've talked about in the past, though, about having the abundance mindset as opposed to the scarcity mindset. And a lot of people have this damn scarcity mindset, and they think that if somebody else does better, they automatically must be less. Which is crap, man.
Right.
Like, and that's the thing. You start to empower people around you, because that's where entitlement comes from, in my opinion. If you empower people around you, then now all of a sudden you're surrounded by people that can make you better.
Right.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, maybe you're not the smartest person in the room, and maybe that takes a gut check. Maybe that takes a little bit, because I've one of the things, and this is one of the things I've talked to my superiors with at work, when they were talking about what do you find accomplishments, like what are some of your greatest accomplishments that you've done, and I knew what they were getting towards. They wanted to know what projects that I've done that saved the company money, what Six Sigma principles that I've instilled in the company that has saved this much money and stuff. And my answer was, I have gotten 30 people promoted since I've worked here.
It's a good answer.
And
think about some of the greatest coaches. What really made them great? You look at their tree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it got real quiet. And it was like, Okay.
No one's ever
that's-
said that.
Yeah, that's cool. And I said I gauge myself by how people around me become better.
Right.
That's the way I gauge myself. If I can take a team of individuals that were maybe not where they wanted to be in life and move them on to the next level, that person will forever remember me for making their life better. And it's not about remembering me, but for me, that makes me feel better about myself. And my subconscious gets another seed.
Yep.
My subconscious, I just planted another seed in my subconscious, and that's the thing. And that should be our goal, because just because that guy got promoted doesn't mean I won't get a promotion. And if he does get promoted into a position that I want to go into, then hell, man, there's other positions. There's an abundance. There's so many. Once you start to realize how many opportunities are out there that are not being taken advantage of, you'll start to go, well, holy shit. Maybe there's not just a finite amount of opportunities out there. There are so many opportunities out there that people just don't understand. Like, the scarcity thing just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think
You gotta
that's.
be looking.
I love what you talked about with your definition. That's my definition of success is, which everyone has different ones. My definition is very similar to yours, right? So it's helping others succeed. Mm-hmm. Like, that's my success. That's my personal success. That's what fires me up, is helping someone reach that next level or a better job or whatever the hell it is, right? Whether it's with me or another company or whatever it is, like, that's my personal success. And I think what's important about that is the only way to make sure that happens is forming relationships.
Sure. Yeah.
And the biggest thing is what you're saying to me right now is, this is a little deep, but when your time comes, your room will be full.
Oh, yeah.
Because the amount of people that you've impacted.
Right.
You want to sit at home, you don't want to talk to nobody except your boys on Call of Duty, and even then you're talking shit to them, your room will be fucking empty.
Yep.
That, or maybe the 4 guys you play Call of Duty will show up and they'll grab a beer afterward, and then they'll go keep playing Call of Duty, and you will be forgotten.
Your username will be deleted.
Yeah, honestly.
Inactivity.
And you, I mean, honestly, that's the truth, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many people have you impacted? That's how many people are going to be at your funeral. If you ain't impacting nobody.
And the fact
Your
of the matter
shit's
is,
empty.
if you'll just put your head down and just go make other people's lives better, I promise you your life will get better. You don't even have to try to make your life better.
That's
if
what I was
you'll
saying.
make everybody else's life better, your life will get better.
What you put out is
Guaranteed.
what comes in.
Guaranteed.
Kind of off topic, but going back to what you were talking about, this whole scarcity mindset thing, and I've had this conversation with some close family a dozen times at least, and it is amazing, like, that whole piece of the pie thing. Like, people think there's only so many slices of pie, and the truth is you can just make more pie, or you can make a bigger pie, right?
That seems absurd.
It does seem absurd to people that don't know how to think.
I just can't bake, so.
Yeah, well, then you build a relationship with a baker.
That's a good point.
Right?
Good point.
But I was having
Well
this
played,
conversation.
sir.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with a neighbor recently, and it was about some things that we were looking at doing. But I was like, I don't know if it's the right time because we got some other investments going on, and da 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 da. He's like, well, how much would it be per month? And I'm like, well, it's like $250 a month. And he's like, well, you could, or there's some things you could cut back. And as soon as he started saying it, I was just like, it just like, how you kind of start feeling weird. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess there are some things I could cut back, but honestly, like, I had to kind of shake it off a little bit. I was like, I don't think that way. I think where's somewhere I can make an extra $250 a month. Like, I don't look at, like, how can I take the same amount and get more out of it? I just go, what can I do to make the amount bigger?
I feel like your brain just went, ew.
It really did. It was just like, it stalled for a second.
We talk about that all the time. That's a great point, because it's not about and I'm not irresponsible with my money by any means. I like to think that I'm pretty responsible with my money, but my goal in life is not to save money.
Right.
My goal in life is to generate money, because if I generate money, I'm creating opportunities for other people.
Yep.
So I would agree with that 100%. But I think there's a lot of people out there that are like the penny pinching mentality, like, okay, I got a finite amount of money. How am I going to distribute this money and stuff? And
why they keep telling themselves, this is how much money I have.
That's right. This
is how much I have. This is how much I have. And I don't, and y'all don't either. We don't look at it that way. We go, how much more do I need to make?
Dude, if you
and
want
not to sorry, but to finish the point, not to step on other areas of your life that are important, not to go, well, where can I sacrifice some time with my kids to make another 200? That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
How can you take the same amount of time and create more with it?
Well, I think if you're saving, you're losing. So I think that making is obviously important, and investing is even more important, right? So either in what you believe in, or into other businesses to help generate more money, more opportunity, not only for that business, but for obviously you and your family. I think there's obviously reasons to save, maybe kids' college funds, whatever it is. But what even then, if you're not putting the money if you're not saving it in a proper manner, you're losing money because money all it does is depreciate.
And I'll say this too, not that we're trying to. Well, I'll just say it.
We're off
If
topic.
Yeah, definitely off topic.
We're off topic, but this needs to be said. So if you've never thought that way before, it's okay. It just means you've never thought that way before. Nobody's ever taught you how to think that way before. So if your mentality right now is, I'm trying to figure out how to save or cut back, and then you weren't aware that you didn't have to do that, we are telling you you are free to go out and make more.
Well, I don't think we're off topic, though, because if you have a scarcity mindset, then the whole networking thing doesn't make sense to you.
Okay. I get you.
So if you have a scarcity mindset, that kind of stuff, like making other people's life, and I need to focus on me. I need to focus on where my nut is and stuff.
that
Like
really
not
works.
everybody else's and stuff. I need to focus on mine. So I think we're still definitely in topic. So if you have a scarcity mindset, and that's your idea, is that everything is finite, and this is, if somebody else wins, you lose kind of thing. I mean, then you need to change your mindset on that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look at the opportunity. We just had a post go out today, something about finding the opportunity in the chaos in your life. You are not going to win all the time. Nope. You're not going to, but you have an opportunity to learn from that, because there's going to be another opportunity to compete again. And it will happen over and over and over. And I think, Kim, you made a statement. Somebody always talks about being broke, or this is the amount of money that I have. This is the amount of money that I have. Maybe change your mindset. Wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. Tell yourself every single day that you're going to be a millionaire. And even if you miss, you'll make more money. I promise.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Even if you make $500,000, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah,
What's
much
the
better off
saying?
than what you're at.
Aim for the shoot for the
Stars,
stars, land on the moon.
Yep.
Yeah, there
Shoot
you
for
go.
the moon, and at least you'll land among the stars.
No, aim for the stars.
I think
the
it's
stars,
going.
land on-
going by your pants or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's,
Oh,
Yeah, going in your pants.
Definitely.
You're not cool unless you pee your pants.
Piece of pants. I like
So
that.
let's go. Let's walk through. I'd love to do a role play.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you guys, so just to
Let's
hear.
do
Right?
this.
So I'm just gonna
Are
pull
we,
out.
are we pulling out that body pillow? Because I'm not into that.
Oh, it's not that kind of role play.
let me put the wig back. 'Cause, oh shit, there's cameras now, dude.
Wilson, why'd you grab the mop?
Gee, just because we got cameras doesn't mean we're doing porn.
That's
guys,
his darker
okay?
days.
It's darker.
But
Welcome to the movement.
yeah, right.
That's a movement, all right.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Hey.
Role play.
But yeah, role play. So let's just just a classic, right? Passing by in the mall. Me and Mia are at the Avenue in Murfreesboro. We're playing Pokemon Go. Easy, right? I'll approach you
Okay.
if you're cool with that.
Yep.
I'm better at this anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Come on with it.
So,
Josh is gonna try to make it hard.
yeah, yes. Hey, look, hey, let's go, baby. So, all right. So he's gonna grunt at me now. Great.
Yeah.
Good example.
Damn, you took my thunder, man. I was about to grunt the shit out of you right off the
Let's
bat.
go. We prying it out at this point. Hey man, how you doing today?
Good, man.
Yeah. Hey, so me and my daughter are just in town. She loves Pokemon Go. This place is lit up with all that stuff. So, but we're about ready to get some lunch. What's a good place to eat around here, bro? Like, and not like chain. Like mom. Like, is there any good mom and pop places around here?
Yeah. So are you guys from here, or are you guys?
Like 30 minutes south, Shelbyville. We honestly, with my
Okay.
work and stuff, I don't really come up here very often.
Okay. All right. What kind of food do you guys like?
My God, me and her, we love Chinese, man. Any good Chinese spot? I mean, I guess mom and pop we got to be safe with. But
Yeah.
I guess today would be it was a burger fry shake kind of thing.
Burger fry shake. Yeah. Oh man, that's a tough one, man. There's a couple good spots around here. I would say that well, Five Guys is kind of a chain, but Five Guys is good. Really enjoy Five Guys. You ever had Five Guys?
Yeah, like on the road for sure. It's good. There's one here in town.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
Shelbyville
there's
doesn't have one of
yeah.
those, dude.
Yeah. Just don't get the large fry. Yeah.
What's wrong with the
That'll-
large fry?
The large fry will feed you and your family, not the immediate family, but the family tree.
Yeah. Well, we got COVID and everything going on, so I could probably ration it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So what are you guys doing up here?
Again, man, we're just she wanted to play some Pokemon Go. There's like nothing in Shelbyville for her to be able to do that. This is a good walking area, and we can enough space between people, all the weirdness and all that.
Oh, okay.
So figured we'd get out, enjoy some sunshine, being quarantined up for a while, and just help get some vitamin D and some exercise. A little bit.
Yeah. So now that I'm thinking about it, man, there's a little place called Buster's. It's actually like a biker bar. I don't know
Okay.
if you want to take your daughter in there. I mean,
Why
during
not?
the day it's probably safe.
No, we'll go tonight actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go later, you guys might be able to get a tattoo while you're getting your burger. But
Excellent.
Yeah, but it's outstanding. It's actually really good. We order from there every once in a while and stuff, and we'll get some food, for the guys, that work for me. I used to order burgers from them and stuff. Outstanding burgers. They have some awesome burgers, and you can play pool while you're waiting too.
Hey, that's what's actually. She'll probably shark me. If that's okay. What do you do?
Well, I'm actually an engineer.
No kidding. For whom?
Amazon. Yep. Yep. Yeah, no, like that. No, I've been working for them for a while, so that was something that I was really interested in and stuff like that. So, I've been kind of rolling in that field for a while. What do you do?
I work for AT&T. Yeah, I'm an area accounts manager. So,
oh, not kidding.
Work from home a lot, but I've got a lot of stuff from like really Bowling Green down to Chattanooga now.
Oh, no kidding. How do you like the work from home thing?
Awful. I can't stand being behind a desk.
Oh, really?
I would honestly rather be in the field.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
I can tell you enjoy talking to people.
Love it, dude. To be honest, I think networking is a key to success in a lot of areas.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with that. I mean, I think a lot of successful people they have to know how to relate.
Absolutely,
they have to know how to create relationships.
Well, sure. I never asked for your name, man. What's your name?
My name's Josh.
Josh, I'm Chris, man. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
This is Amelia, my daughter.
Chris, Amelia, nice to meet you guys. Is
awesome.
your only child?
My son. Yep, he's at work with my wife.
Oh, okay.
He's a little fiery little redhead, so he would probably be running out in front of cars. He loves pain.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
He'll be a killer MMA fighter.
Hey, man, you can't steer a parked bus, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all good. I'd rather have them wild than stagnant.
Absolutely.
So I agree with that.
Well, Josh, man, I tell you what. What's a good one to reach yet, man? I never know. I'm in the I'm in the communications field. Maybe it'll help you guys at work or even outside of work. I'm big on networking and whatnot like that. So I'll tell you what, maybe grab lunch one day or something.
Yeah, sure, man. I got some kids too, and we're around the area up here, so it's always good meeting new people. Yeah, sure, man. Here, hit me up at this number.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll give you a text.
Okay.
Well, 555.
Yeah,
555. No, but for real, man, that's how a lot of those conversations end up going to, man.
Yeah,
and it's not that difficult. And I could have made it hard. I could have been a dickhead and stuff, but that is a rare occasion.
Very Most people are
rare occasion.
You could be like, no, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I've had that before. I'm like, I don't really see that, man, but that's cool.
Yeah.
So here's another pro tip that we're going to put in here. The sharper they look, the easier the conversation is going to be.
Yeah,
if you go out and you look at some turds and you're like, oh, that's going to be an easier conversation because I'm sharper than they are, those are the conversations that you're going to be like pulling shit, and they're going to be weird. They're going to be, probably not as confident and stuff. You go talk to some people that are sharp, that look like they're put together and stuff like that. They're going to be generally more confident. They probably understand networking, so it's not weird to them. Mm-hmm. So understand that aspect as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and obviously I haven't actually used that card in a long time.
Yeah.
With more of the business side, we could have maybe helped each other out down the line or something like that. You know what I'm saying? As far as networking, so I stuttered. Everyone will notice that. But at the same time, it's for AT&T, more of line is usually I'm exchanging information for that.
Right.
More often than not, right? So and when we were in business, it was more for that. So really, with Josh, it would have just been different. But either way, if you're not, even if it's not a if you're just talking to him, like, man, you know what? We're actually looking to move in the area. I don't know anybody here. Would you guys, is it cool to stay in touch? Honestly, you seem like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
You look like you don't eat kids for a living, so it'd be cool to know someone that's
we're into
decent.
the non-kid eating friendship thing.
Yeah.
But notice the jokes that we both put in there too, so it lightens it up. You make someone laugh.
Oh man,
instant likability.
Yeah,
it's a connection.
Especially if you ask. So psychologically, whenever you make a connection with somebody, if you ask somebody for their help on something, they automatically like you because you put yourself in a vulnerable position and you allowed them to be the, I don't want to say aggressor, but you were vulnerable in that situation, which is difficult for people.
Yeah.
Because when you put yourself in a difficult position, like if he would have said, hey man, is there any good place to eat around here? I'd look at him and go, do I look like I eat burgers? Like, come on, dude. Like I'm chiseled like a damn statue.
Look like you eat children. Get the fuck out of here.
Are you kidding me? Do I look like he opened himself up to the point where he could have accepted? Now, that's a really rare occasion, but that's why people don't want to get vulnerable. But when you do, sharp people will automatically like you and they'll want to help you. Yeah. Even if I don't know a good burger and fries joint, I have seen people when I'm talking to them pull their phone out and start searching for me.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I'm like, I got a phone.
I know what
I can
Google
Google
is.
stuff, but they'll do it for me.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of the matter, man. And most people that are sharp, that are worth talking to, will do that.
Yeah.
And it's because they want to help.
I was going to say, you look like you eat about 6 ounces of maybe 90-10.
No. 6 ounces of silverback gorilla testicles
Whoa.
every morning.
Wow.
Ground.
Every morning.
No, not ground. Not ground.
Powdered.
It's amazing.
How do you think I burned the
You're on
calories?
camera.
Chew 'em.
It's amazing what it does for the
That's so
libido.
funny.
Wow. Silverback
God.
gorilla testicles.
That's intense.
Kind of like an oyster. If you put it on a cracker with some cocktail sauce.
But I mean, honestly, though, what's funny about that is, and this is even my own inflection looking back over the conversations I've had over the years, exactly like that. I can tell what your self-image is based on who you're talking to randomly.
Oh, yeah.
Clear indication of where you're at with your self-image.
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt.
If you're going up to the guy that looks, that's sharp, put together, maybe got his family with him, and you walk up and talk to him, and you're tore up, lack of better words, like, hey man,
Yeah.
what's your pussy? Okay,
Duck out.
Never mind.
Oh, man. But the fact of the matter is, hey, the truth to that is a lot of people start out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, man? Never mind.
Yeah, cool.
Like, seriously, that's how a lot of people start out. That's real life. And so if you are at that point, don't beat yourself up about it.
Right.
Go say never mind several times.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to go, okay, this isn't that bad.
Yeah, nobody
This
ate
is
me
not
yet.
that- Yep, this is not that bad.
That's so good.
You can-
5 guys, cool. We're going right now.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, bye.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Palms are sweating.
Knees weak.
Well, you could build your relationships
Mom
up.
Spaghetti.
Thanks.
You can build yourself up to those sharper ones, but don't give yourself a cop out that every time you talk to someone who, quote unquote, is lesser of you, like you're not as scared to talk to them because you think that you're sharper than them. Don't let that be your cop out. I mean, you could use that as a warm up, and I like the warm up ones. I like to go warm up a little bit, have some conversations with some folks, especially if you're out literally trying to do some networking.
I usually do that at the nursing home because the older ladies are really, really nice, and they're not usually.
Oh, he's so sweet.
I call my own guys.
Yeah.
And I'll have a fake like I will, like, as soon as I know someone's in the field, maybe they have a rough month, something like that, I'll call them and I'll be a customer.
Yeah.
Hey, is this Adam with the At and T? Yep. Sure
It'll
is.
never get more weird than a role play. I mean, that's the most
Yeah,
awkward
that's-
thing
yeah.
you can do.
This
Yeah.
is it right
And
there.
I'm tough, dude. Like, I'm like, how did I do this? You talk to me about that? And dude, I'm telling you, they are if they land it, they're fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna
Self-image goes way up,
Oh,
dude.
absolutely. That's what I was gonna say too. If you actually go out there and network, and you get a phone number from somebody that's sharp, that could be a potential friend, a potential client, whatever it may be. My God, I mean, you can't, nobody can tell you nothing after that. You got about 10 minutes, and nobody can tell you anything. You know,
You can master that.
You just took a whole dose of fuck 'em all.
Y'all haven't seen that.
300 milligrams of fuck 'em all.
No,
It's one of the
won't give a
greatest
fuck
ever.
at all.
Dude, that shit is good.
That is hilarious.
But if you can master that conversation piece right there, and look, I haven't mastered it. I'm still stuttering and everything. But if you can master that, just think of the unlimited potential you could have for any business,
Oh,
anywhere,
yeah,
your own,
yeah,
the one you work for, or whatever it is. Spreading brand awareness, whatever you're doing, spreading a cause awareness,
yeah.
going and having a civil conversation with somebody. Let me clarify. And spreading a cause's awareness. If people will want to listen if you're civil and you're willing to be open-minded. I think it's great. I mean, you can literally take anything and build upon it if you master that one thing.
Well, 85. One of the most freeing things in the world that I ever heard, because I'm a big data kind of guy. 85% of all millionaires are self-made. It means it wasn't handed to them. Those individuals, to your point, you learn how to network, you learn how to create relationships with people. You could take everything that person owns from them and set them somewhere else, and they'll build another empire.
Yep, they'll do it
And
again.
it's because they worked on themselves, and they got themselves uncomfortable to the point where they learned, they stretched themselves. We've talked about this repeatedly, whether it's physical, mental, whatever it may be. You have to get yourself uncomfortable. But once you do, and you learn how to network, the results are just, I mean, they're endless. Like there's nothing you can't do. You could take everything from an individual, put them somewhere else, and they'll win there too.
That's my answer for the one of the toughest interview questions. Why do you want this job, or why do you want to work here? That's my answer. To be honest with you, you could literally place me in any city in this country, and I'll expand your brand.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
And there's like,
That's why marketing. That's
Go
why
ahead.
marketing and sales is such
for
a lucrative field, because there's very little people that are willing to get themselves uncomfortable to go to have conversations with normal people.
What are they gonna say? You know, and what's their answer to that? No, you won't. They're like, test me.
Yeah,
Crap, I just
You're
got
hired.
hired.
Yeah.
Got him.
bet you won't.
Yo, it's a funny thing. I have that stuck on my monitor at work. Bet you won't. I wrote it and everything. I was like, you know what?
I love it, dude. I got something that's written out that says "Winners win." That's my new motto. Winners win, man. Every time I want to be weak, winners win.
Winners.
What's
I
that
have
old thing about Muhammad Ali or Tyson or whoever? They said, "Why didn't you stay down on the mat when he got knocked down?" He said, "Because champions don't belong on the mat."
Hey,
Like that's the same mentality. Like
He's coming back.
Winners win. Oh, Tyson, yeah, he's
Tyson's going
oh
back.
my gosh,
That's
dude.
dude. I wouldn't want to get punched by him.
Yeah,
No.
I'm good on that. Yep.
Yeah.
I saw him in The Hangover. He's still got it.
We've got
And that was 10 years ago.
we got a poster at work that's winners make money and losers make excuses.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Winners make connections.
Yeah.
Losers talk to themselves.
That's why I like
Yeah,
to
right.
do that. Winners win is just one of those kind of general money, relationships,
everything.
everything. You win
Well, it
at
is.
life.
Yeah.
You just win at life, and that's gonna be my motto. Mine from now on is just winners win.
Chris
Mine
is I love me.
I love me.
I love
Backwards.
everybody, but anyway.
Mostly me though.
I
Mostly
love
me.
a lamp.
I look myself in the mirror and I'm like,
I like cheese.
Hey now.
I like cheese.
no. In wrapping up, I'm gonna wrap up too because we've been going a little long in it. I like this, but it's good shit. And hopefully you guys out there are listening. But you can be a winner and you can win in life if you learn how to master your connections, how to master your social skills, and actually get out there and get a little uncomfortable. It's okay, And if you really want to be successful in life, you've got to get rid of the fear of saying hello. And if you're in a job position, I'm thinking of these people like thinking that you got the CEO passing by all the time, and you're afraid to talk to him. What is he gonna do? Just say, hey, I got time for right now, but you might be able to book a time later to where you can talk to him, or whatever the case may be. You got you're a girl and you see a hot looking dude coming by or whatever, and you want to talk to him, girl. Or if you're a guy, you got a girl looking, coming by, and you're afraid to talk to her. You never know what they're gonna say, and that's in everything in life. And I hope you take these practical steps, the form, all the different methods, the role playing. Talk to yourself in the mirror. If you're in sales and you have a script, don't be scripted. Don't come off as a script. Be genuine. Be you. Put your own self into it, and just go out there and have a blast and have fun and laugh at yourself if you screw it up. But the cool thing is you learn from it. You don't lose. You learn, and just continue to learn every step of the way as you build whatever you're looking to build for this type of connections. And I just felt like it was very important for us to talk about this today, and I hope this worked. Oh, actually, I know it's going to help you if you just apply it and listen. And, just get out there and go become.